Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Daily Insight. Today's topic will be discussing the impact of the coronavirus on Washington State real estate. And with that, we have a real estate broker from Washington State. Let's all welcome Janette Matugas. Hi, Janet. Welcome.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Well, today we want to know how coronavirus has impacted Washington. But before we dive into there, we want to know what's the situation in Washington? What are the government measures in place to help flatten the curve of this pandemic?
Well, right now we are on a stay home, stay healthy order from our governor here in Washington State. And what that entails is that there are no gatherings of any kind. And also there's a closure of all non-essential businesses. So what that means is, anything that is recreational, nail salons, hair salons, some restaurants, although they have lifted some restrictions on restaurant owners. They can do takeouts and deliveries and that kind of stuff. But only essential businesses are allowed to continue in their businesses, such as the healthcare, hospitals and clinics, and transportation's open, and also grocery stores. So those are considered essential. There's a whole array of businesses that are considered essential, and so one of them too is real estate. At first, the stay home, stay healthy order for Washington State started on March 24. And at that time, everybody was kind of like in panic because we were told that all businesses will have to be on lockdown, and everybody in Washington State. And then a few days later, March 27, 3 days later, the governor, realized that housing is also an essential business because people have to move and people need to have housing. And so that was lifted for real estate. So we were able to continue with showing houses, selling houses. There are restrictions still, like we cannot have more than two people whenever we show houses. Only two people at a time for every showing in the house. We also have to make appointment prior to the showings. And then, of course, we always have to follow the social distancing guidelines and safety and health protocols, like disinfecting and wearing masks and gloves. So we're abiding by the government guidelines so that it protects everybody, not just us as real estate agents, but also the people who are buying and the people who are selling as well, because it's their home. So we're always telling them they need to, whatever you touch, for buyers and sellers on both sides, always just wipe down after every showing. So it's been working well. We've adapted to that new normal in our business. And so we're just hoping that it won't take too long, and then we can go back to the usual normal.
Yes. So you mentioned that you are still doing showings of houses that you are selling. Now, do people physically go into the houses, or how are you doing the showings of these houses on sale?
We are still able to show houses. We physically bring clients into the homes. But like I mentioned earlier, we do, follow the social distancing guidelines and the cleaning and disinfecting and all that stuff. But for the most part, some buyers don't want to go and tour the property. And so we have virtual tours available where they can view online the house. There are different kinds of virtual tours because, technology right now is so good. There's the usual, we take a lot of really nice and high quality pictures. We also do videos. But with video, once you see the video, you always have to replay it, right? If you want to go back and take a look. We now have the ability to do 3D pictures so that people can actually go in. And I have a sample that I can show you if you'd like.
Yes.
So people can actually go in and they feel as if they're in the home. They can take the tour. It gives you a 360-degree turn. It's a turn by turn of the home, so it feels like you're actually inside the house. It's pretty cool.
Can we see a sample of one right now?
Yeah, sure. This is one where we're using the 3D system, so it has that. So what I do is I send the link to a buyer so that they can see the inside of the home. So normally you'll see just a picture.
Yeah, usually if I'm looking at houses online, the houses are set up and then they're dressed nicely. But again, it's just pictures. You can't go an actual tour. But this is something new that happened during this stay-at-home order, or is this just something becoming more popular now?
It's becoming more popular now. We've actually been doing this for quite a few years now. So we didn't know this, pandemic's going to happen. So it's kind of nice that we already have this in place. This is this is what we call a 3D technology camera system. So it gives you the layout and the floor plan. And with your mouse, you can actually, look around. So with my mouse here, you can have a 360-degree view of the home as if you're there, right? So that's the main door. You come inside and then you'll see the living room here. And then it just takes you with your mouse, with just a click of a button, you can actually move around the house.
Now, is this what the house looks like right now at this moment? Or was this, it's just dressed up with the furniture for this tour?
This is the actual house with the furniture in there.
Okay.
Yeah. And then another feature that we like with this is that you can take measurements. So some people, they get excited with a house that they see and they have maybe a couch already. And this one has a capability to take measurements. So like here, it will say, take measurements, start taking it. And then you can measure from, say, the counter to, from the counter to the fireplace. So it'll tell you, there it's 14 feet. So if you have an 8-foot couch, then you know how much space you have in between.
Wow, that's so helpful.
Yeah, so that's something that we show our clients. It's a technology that is available now, and so you can really take a good tour of the house. It'll take you as if you are there, and you can even go up the stairs here. So it's nice, and a lot of our clients like having this kind of technology because, especially with the COVID that's going on right now, some of them don't want to go out and tour the house physically.
Yes.
So we've had some clients that when they like the house using this tour, some of them actually make an offer on the house without even physically being in the house. So and we're able to do inspections, home inspections. After that, we're able to bring in our home inspector to come and inspect the home for the buyer. So we've, worked around the new normal so that we're able to still service buyers and sellers.
So when you send these virtual links, is this something that you do with the buyers? Is it a guided tour? Or is it you just send them the link and on their own free time they can look at it themselves?
We do both.
Okay, good.
Send them the link, and if they're not too tech savvy, then they usually call me and ask if I can help them get around it. But it's pretty easy to use. And a lot of people now are on their computers, and they just click here and there, and then they can get around. And very rarely, actually, I get a phone call because they kind of figure it out themselves.
Yes. Wow, that's so interesting. Now, because you have this technology, the number of your clients gone up, or are these people still kind of discouraged because of the pandemic that's going on? Pretty much, are buyers still interested in buying right now?
They are. I would say there has been a decrease in, interest. Some people actually decided to hold off on buying and even
Yes.
on the selling side,
Okay.
just because they want to be safe and they just want to
Yes.
wait until this is all over. But then there are some people that have to move.
Of course.
There are people that buy and sell because the market is good. Right
Mhm.
now, there's less competition on the market, and
Mhm.
so people take advantage of this time where they can actually look at properties. There is not much competition,
Mhm.
and they can get maybe a good deal on a home. Might be the timing is right, when
Yes.
we actually find the right house in the right location, and so they grab that opportunity and buy. Then there are also people who have to move,
Mhm.
because of work maybe.
Mhm.
We recently, actually just a couple of weeks ago, we had a nurse from Canada who is moving here to Washington because
Mhm.
she got a job offer to help, because they are low in staff in one of the hospitals here. So, being an essential employee, she had to find a place right away to move. So, that's just one of the reasons that people do move and have to buy and sell during this time. Then there are those two who are, maybe their parents, one of their parents got ill, and they have
Oh.
to take care of them, stay with the family, and then they have to sell the parents' home. So
Mhm.
there are a lot of different reasons. So even though it may be holding back some people, there are still some people who are, because of their situation that they have to move,
Mhm.
that they still continue with that plan that they have to move.
Well, it's good to know that the housing market is still alive, and it's promising that the governor realized that this is still an essential business. Well, when we come back to Daily Insight, we'll learn more about the housing market in Washington State. So stay tuned to Daily Insight.
We know you're scared too.
We know you're sleepless and exhausted.
We know you want to stay home and be with your loved one.
Go to work and put your own life on the line for others to live.
The doctors,
nurses,
Paramedics,
therapists,
front desk,
Medical assistants,
pharmacists,
Medical technologists, janitorial staff,
clerical staff, and to all of you who still go to work every day.
keep us safe and to provide the things that we need.
please know we are praying for you too.
And we promise to stay home and healthy for you.
our love and appreciation goes to you and your families.
you are our new heroes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Daily Insight. Today we are talking about the impact of coronavirus on Washington state real estate. And with that, we have a real estate broker, Janette Matugas. Now, Janet, you were mentioning before that the housing market is still alive and there are buyers who are still buying, there are sellers who are still selling. But what about renters? Because I know not everyone is in the capacity of buying a house. How has this economy with the pandemic affected renters with their capability?
Some of the renters are also like buyers, they're holding off on moving. But right now, the existing renters, they have been given some assurance with the government. It's nice actually that the government is stepping in and helping out people, including the renters. So right now there have been some orders with landlords to hold off on collecting rent. And we know that it affects the owners too, the landlords, because if, say, for example, they're renting out a house and they have to pay that mortgage, so it's kind of a chain reaction. So the renter cannot pay because of reasons, maybe work, they're not able to work, or they actually lost their job. And hopefully it's temporary, but at the same time, the owner of that house that they're renting have a mortgage to pay. And so these days there are some help with the mortgage lenders. So some mortgage lenders are able to offer solutions so that the landlords also get a break from paying the mortgage. So there's what they call a forbearance that they can ask from their lender, and it's a temporary. It varies from lender to lender, but most of the lenders that I know have been giving homeowners the opportunity to hold on making their payments because of the COVID situation. So they just have to call their lender to at least get that in the system that they are in a forbearance state. And
It's good to know that they have that consideration for them, because a lot of people have been affected right now from this pandemic.
Right. So most people that I have talked to, my past clients actually, I have suggested to them, because they asked me, what do? We can't pay the mortgage right now because one of the spouses maybe have lost their job, or they both spouses or everyone in the family who's working and making that payment are not able to. And they asked me, what do we do? And so I did advise them to call their lender and find out if they can get that forbearance. And most of them did apply and got approved. So for 3 months, some are given up to 6 months hold on their mortgage payments, which is nice. Then at least they, it's something that they don't have to worry about too much. At least they know that they're going to have a home. They don't have to move. They don't have to worry about getting foreclosed on, or if they're a renter, they won't be evicted. So that's a lot of help.
Well, that's good to know, because I know some people have lost their jobs, and to have to also lose your home on top of everything can be so devastating. Now, with the landlords, most of them I know have in place that you have to give notice when you want to end your contract if you're not going to renew. Are some of them still following that strict guideline that you gotta give me 2 months notice before you end your lease, or are some of them relaxing that guideline? What's happening there?
They are relaxing guidelines. Most landlords are very understanding these days because they too are affected. If their lender is allowing them to hold on them paying their mortgage, then they kind of pass that on to their renters. I do know of one, it was just in the news recently, where there was one landlord that was very demanding. And so the renter um, did appeal to the state, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, so they were granted some time to stay, and I think the landlord was given. He's the one given a notice because he shouldn't have done that during these days.
Really?
Yeah, so there's a moratorium in place here in our state right now, which
Mhm.
helps a lot of people, whether
Yes.
you're a renter or a homeowner.
Wow. See, I didn't know that. I didn't know that because technically the landlord, of course, he's within his right to demand those things, but to see that the state is in favor of actually the renters. And it's so if, for example, if there's a renter in that situation who is facing a landlord like that, what are his options? You mentioned something about an appeal.
Yeah, they can call. There's a housing authority here
Hmm.
in Washington State. They can call and file a complaint.
Hmm.
A lot of times too, they just need to talk again to the landlord
Hmm.
and let them know that they're aware of these guidelines in place,
Hmm.
and a lot of times that can be worked out. But if not, then your next step would probably be to file a complaint with the governor or
Hmm.
the state authorities.
Well, it's good to know that people have this available to them because I know some people might be in that situation and then they might not know. But it's good to hear that the state is has consideration for people who are affected by this. So
Yeah.
we learned today, Janet, that people are still buying, people are still selling. Now, what is your prediction of the housing market in Washington State for the rest of this year? If you can just give us your own prediction, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, I think the housing market has been pretty strong, even before the pandemic started. And we've, of course, the real estate agents and investors, we're always looking at what's out there. What are the news about real estate? We always kind of try to tune in to experts on housing and financial issues. And they have predicted, they have shared this with us, that the housing market is going to remain strong. So it is strong now. Yes, a lot of people are maybe holding back on buying and selling, but it's only temporary. Usually in real estate in the States, spring is always a hot market. That's when
Really?
everybody's, the um, weather is getting better. It's getting
Hmm.
sunnier, especially here in Washington. We always get a lot of rain.
Yes.
So in the springtime, the weather gets warmer, and then spring and summer, those are our peak times for real estate. And so even though during these days, not a lot of people are buying and selling, there are still people that are buying and selling. So
Hmm.
the prices of homes have not really gone down too much.
Hmm.
They're still actually, they're not increasing. I would say they're pretty steady as far as prices, but the prediction is that it's going to remain strong. We're actually very anxious to get this all done because we're ready, with spring and summer. So we may also have low inventory of homes right now,
Hmm.
but I can tell you, as soon as this stay home order is lifted, everybody's ready. We're gonna
Hmm.
grab the opportunity to help the people who need to buy, people who need to sell, and we're gonna have the inventory of homes parked up again. And if I can also share, there is a lot of the economists have shared with us that in the past, and we've read this or heard this in the news, in the past, there have been different kinds of epidemics that happened. So in the history of the world,
Hmm.
we've heard about the Spanish flu epidemic, we've heard about the Asian flu, and then there's also the SARS, right?
Yes.
So now we're in this COVID-19 pandemic, and during those times that the epidemics happened, they have mentioned something about a V-shaped recession. So what that means is, like the home prices, they are like up to here before the pandemic started, and then it just went down, really straight down. But then the projection is that it's gonna go way back up again, like a V shape. So that's what we're predicting, or what the experts are predicting. And so right now, even though we're kind of a standstill, everything is still gonna move. Everything is still in motion, and real estate is going to get better as soon as we're out of this situation that we're in.
Yeah, I think we're all looking forward to that. Well, thank you so much, Janet, for sharing with us your insights. I know a lot of viewers will find this episode very helpful. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. And to all of our viewers, these are mornings filled with meaningful business talk, giving you useful advice on how to win at your career. I am Randy Bernardino, and this is Daily Insight.